Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Join me every week for conversations with current and former students to hear their funny and inspiring stories as we learn about their journey to higher education, the role that LFCC has played, where they are now, and where they plan to go. We'll also talk to current and former professors about their experiences and best memories of LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is The Valley Business Today. As you are listening to the show today, we, however, have pre-recorded our conversation on a Monday afternoon. Sally Michaels is joining me from the Frederick County EDA. She is joining me on a Zoom screen. And Sally, two things. So first of all, you are recording the show with me today on a Monday afternoon while you are technically on vacation. So kudos to you. Second of all, you were recording this show from your car alongside the road in Georgia, which I think is awesome. And it's another testament to Zoom because a few weeks ago, I recorded a radio show and my guest was in LA. So I have become national now. So look at this. We are making history here.
I could have been calling you from the beach in the Gulf, but
I wouldn't have answered that call. I would have been so annoyed and upset that that's how I had to see the beach that I probably would have ignored your call.
Well, thank you for letting me do this on vacation.
We are going to talk today about manufacturing because we talk a lot about that when you come on the show. But National Manufacturing Day, people who are listening on Wednesday, on Friday is National Manufacturing Day. You guys have had to tweak your National Manufacturing Week just a tad because of the pandemic. So tell me what you guys have planned and what's going on and how that came to be.
Okay, so this year would have been year 3 of Manufacturing Week. Typically, it would include our students going on tours into the industries, doing a certain school with all the teachers, administrators, counselors going in on tour, open to the public tours. We would have celebrated with our local manufacturers, going on site, doing a breakfast, some type of industry discussion, and then, the host opens their doors to the other manufacturers so they get to see the operation. So a little bit different this year because we can't bring students on site and teachers on site. We're going to do different things. Yes, we will continue to have our videos of our companies. We've added 2 this year, Continental, which used to be O'Sullivan, and also MTV Solar. Technically, they fall under construction. However, there are other aspects of that can slide into manufacturing. More on that piece later. So we've added those 2 already. I know that those are edited. We do still have the library up, the video library. So all the past companies, Barrett, Machine, Winchester Tool. Oh my gosh, we've done so many.
Have you done Ashworth?
That's on our list. We have not been into video, but yes, they're on our list.
I only remember them because of the Pop-Tarts. I'm sad to say. The Pop-Tarts are what sticks in my head.
Okay, so along that vein, in addition to the videos, and that's why we do that, we started, thinking K-12, but we're beyond that, and the college is watching the videos. But if we can get out into the public and say things like, well, look at the back of your Pop-Tart, and you see that V pattern, did you know that the people that make the belts that those Pop-Tarts are baked on, that's here, that's local. So we'll be doing a lot of nuggets, a lot of facts about our local. When I say local, think about the community college footprint. So Page, Rappahannock, Shenandoah, Warren, Clark, Frederick, Winchester, that service area. Yes, those schools, yes, the community college, but also the public. We want to talk about the businesses that are out there and what are the products, because that tends to stick. And you bring up the Pop-Tarts a lot. You also talk about the Mio that Kraft invented here.
Parents can go watch it. Kids can go watch it. Anybody can go and see these videos?
Yes. explorefrederickcareers.com.
Where they can go to see all the videos.
Yep, that's on our site, explorefrederickcareers.com. You can find that library of videos. And like I said, we're 3 years in the making. We started out with like 5 videos, then we grew to like 8 more. So every year and all year long, we try to add to that. So I encourage everyone to go check that out. For the library to also give you some other resources. It's available to the public. Parents, I encourage you to look at that. Those of you that are looking for a job change, find out what's in your community. What's around. So another piece that we're going to be bringing up throughout the month are facts about manufacturing, such as when a single job is created in manufacturing. Okay, we're talking about Virginia. When a single job is created, another 3 or 4 are then created to support that job. So broaden your mind, think about HR, logistics, accounting, legal. So we want to get that data out to the public. So the factoids, what products are made, who are their customers? Because I'm a nerd. I like to know that kind of stuff. Do you want to know where it's going? What kind of volume? How many pellets of color does it take to make some of these bottles that we're going to talk about? So history, factoids, and I definitely want to go over with you in the next segment the 5 things, the 5 inventions that we use every single day that were created by women. So Manufacturing Week is really going to be a whole celebration all month long. Friday, October 2nd is National Manufacturing Day. I know locally American Woodmark is participating live with National Association of Manufacturers. They are doing a tour in one of the plants. So folks can check that out as well. October 2nd, which is Friday, National Manufacturing Day.
Well, and it's interesting that you say, because we spend a lot of our time when we do these conversations talking about our kids and talking about education and the options for them if they're going off to college, if they're staying here and doing community college, if they're getting certifications or credentials. We talk a lot about making sure that our children know what their options are. But it really is just as important that the parents understand what the options are for their kids and for themselves, because a lot more people are looking for jobs right now.
Right. And we are very blessed. When I go over some of these numbers nationally or just within Virginia, I mean, our local area is so fortunate because we have so much manufacturing and they never shut down during the pandemic. So those jobs are necessary, but they're also lucrative. And the pay is good. You've got benefits. I know kids turn off to that, but the older audience, benefits are like, here I am sitting in Georgia, paid time off. You go on vacation, you're still getting paid. You earn those days off. You have sick days off. You don't have to worry about, I feel like crud, I'm going in to
subsidized health care in a lot of cases. Insurance is covered.
And like 401k, any type of those, and our Special Made in Frederick County does a great job when they do their tours and they talk to the kids about, let's talk a little bit about if you had $10 and you invested that, and they go over the benefits of how they match money. And as a kid, I can remember being in college and like, whatever, I'm going to invest my $10 right now. Dang, if I had only listened. So just getting it, yes, to the K-12 level, but for everyone else, it's so important to understand that those benefits exist. And a lot of these places pay for education too. When you graduate high school, that is not the end, people. You will forever learn. If you've been at a company 20 years, you have to learn new machinery. There might be a new procedure. You will always be taking courses to do the job that you have or the job that you want, or to cross-train. So it's lifelong. And we need to get our entire public, our community, understanding that is the process, and yes, those opportunities exist.
Well, let's take a break. When we come back, you were mentioning earlier that you've got all kinds of cool factoids and things like that. I think there's a huge misconception out there, at least among the older generations, that manufacturing is a dirty word. And it is not these days a dirty word. There are cool things that happen. They don't look the same as they've always looked in the past. So let's talk about, in the second segment, some of the cool factoids and what today's manufacturing looks like. Can we do that when we come back?
Yes.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Sally Michaels. She is with Frederick County's EDA. She is currently sitting in her car in Georgia. That's a perk, again, to having a job and having vacation. I, however, am still sitting in my kitchen on a Monday afternoon. You, of course, are listening to this on Wednesday. Either way, we're going to be back in just a couple of minutes, so hang in there.
Do you know anyone who is struggling with financial hardships because of coronavirus? Our new webinar called Coping with the Money Crunch can help. We'll talk about immediate options to consider, revising or creating a spending plan, and lots of community resources. Then we'll cover how to narrow your priorities, contact creditors, and avoid scams and risky loans. The webinar is free, and you can either join by phone or through Zoom on a smartphone, tablet, or computer. You can find out more by visiting the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program on Facebook or calling Karen Poff at 540-635-4549. Let me show you how to make your own plan or help someone you care about get through the crisis. Call 635-4549 or visit at NSV Financial Education on Facebook today.
Welcome back to the Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is the Valley Business Today. As you are listening to the show today, we, however, have pre-recorded our conversation with Sally Michaels from the Frederick County EDA over Zoom on a Monday afternoon. She is in her car in Georgia. I am in my kitchen in Middletown. Technology, as they say. But Sally, I'm using that as an example because things have really changed, not even just in the last 6 to 8 months because of the pandemic, but things have changed from a technology perspective over the years, just as they have changed for manufacturing over the years. People going to work in manufacturing jobs now are not doing the same things that my dad was doing some 50 years ago at Crown Cork and Seal.
Right. So I've looked up a little bit about this that I want to share with the audience. So let's start with food for thought. Now, this report was pre-COVID, so just keep that in mind. The United States had as many people working in the manufacturing sector last December as it did 69 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So right before we went to break, you were talking about how manufacturing, was thought of as dirty.
Factory work. Nobody really thought of it being happy or creative or fun either.
So that blew me away, that little factoid. There's still as many people working in that group, but definitely the technology has changed. And that's where the term advanced manufacturing comes in, which basically means high tech, innovative, it's robotic. And so I have a whole bunch of facts here about the robots that came to exist, and the kids and the teachers that go on tour get to see some of these robotic arms, and they're really amazing because it's almost like an alien with suction cup fingers to lift something. It seems like such a menial thing, but it's so efficient, and that's the key. So the first robot was Westinghouse Electric Corporation. They had Televox the robot. He did housekeeping duties. All right, so we can go during our manufacturing celebration all month long. I'm going to be sharing these on Facebook and LinkedIn on the website. So it started out doing the housekeeping, but eventually, now this is back in 1937, it would smoke and talk and walk.
You mean smoke like cigarette smoke?
Cigarettes. Yeah.
Talk about changing times. Oh my goodness.
Yep. And then I have to bring up, and I won't put my nerd flag out there, but I think most people know who R2-D2 and C-3PO are. If not, maybe you've heard of WALL-E. It seems that I think society likes to have robots with personality. Did you know that Apple has Daisy? Daisy is an industrial robot that can sort and dismantle multiple types of iPhones at superhuman speed, targeting certain parts for reuse. That's Daisy. So let's backtrack from Daisy and talk about the females that have made a difference in manufacturing, things that we use every single day. There are 5 inventions, 5 women. I'm going to bring this up because it seems that we don't have as many females going into the manufacturing line, but you have to remember that definition of innovative, advanced, creative, right? All these words that describe. So windshield wipers, number 1, created by Mary Anderson. I mean, most people, I guess, driving back then would just reach their hand out and wipe off the windshield. Maybe it was dirt, maybe it was water. The automatic dishwasher, a wooden wheel that would secure plates, and it was a bunch of water coming at one time to wash dishes. And that was invented by Josephine Cochran. Why? Because her servants at the time, she didn't want them chipping her good china, but she didn't want to hand wash. So she created the automatic dishwasher. In fact, I found out that she took it to the Chicago World's Fair.
Oh.
And so when you look back at some of these companies, that's where it came from. I don't want to get it wrong when I say it. Whirlpool, and then whoever just bought out Whirlpool. That was her machine. But I think invention runs in her family because her grandfather did the steamboat.
Oh.
So it's kind of fun. Paper bags. Any cat lovers out there that like to watch a cat with a paper bag? Hours of entertainment. That was invented by Margaret Knight back in 1868. She had a machine that would take paper, seal it, fold it, and my God, where would we be without paper bags? Kevlar. This is the most interesting one. Stephanie Quillette worked for DuPont. Okay, she had a chemistry background, and she was messing around with some solutions. She was trying to find something that would be lightweight and strong in tires, but what she came up with was something that was 5 times stronger when it was spun into fibers. That's Kevlar. Everybody knows Kevlar is for a
bulletproof
vest. Right. But actually we use them every day. I'm not walking around with a vest on. There's 200 applications that we use this for. Things like brake linings, ropes, building materials, airplanes, tennis rackets, space vehicles, firefighter boots, hockey sticks, cut resistant gloves, armored cars, hurricane safe rooms, which would have been good where I was. So that's a really fun one. Kevlar, that just a chemistry background. She's mixing things up. She had a goal for making stronger tires, and she came up with Kevlar. Amazing. All right, so the 5th one is the Countess of Lovelace, about computer programs. She was the first one. She was brilliant, a mathematician that created the first algorithm intended to be carried out by a machine. And so others were inspired to create the giant room full of computers, then the little tiny things that we're using right now to do the Zoom call. So I thought that was kind of fun. All the females.
Well, and 2 things come to my mind when you talk about those. First of all, that phrase, necessity is the mother of invention. Well, there's a reason why it is the mother of invention, because women are the ones trying to figure out easier ways and smarter, more practical ways to do everyday things. So it doesn't surprise me that women came up with some of the coolest things ever. I'm just saying.
Nope. Me either.
And then the other thing is that last one also brings back around full circle the fact that manufacturing jobs aren't always working on the floor in a facility. Sometimes it is the technology and the programming of the robots that you talked about earlier, or creating the algorithms for shipping or any of these other things that still falls under manufacturing in a lot of these companies.
Oh, yeah. Research and design. That's where they would classify that, but also quality control. So you don't want something going out the door that's not going to work. Green Bay Packaging in Frederick County. They make the labels. If you go to the bakery in Martins and you get something from the bakery and the little sticker that's on there that either tells you it's chocolate cake or it's a reduced sticker, they make those labels here. They also make them for like Vicks cough medicine. Each one has to be a certain stickiness. I don't know what the scientific term is, but they're tested because is it a dry product or is it something that gets frozen? You don't want it falling off in the freezer. You've got it in there a couple months, you take it out and you're like, well, I don't know what this is. Am I going to defrost it or toss it? But they have a quality department that tests the stickiness of that. So when we talk about 3 and 4 jobs created for every single manufacturing job.
That's where some of those jobs come from.
Right. All right. So in Virginia, we have 5,000 manufacturers and they employ 200,000 individuals. That small group contributes $34 billion to the gross state product, and it accounts for over 80% of the state's exports to the global economy.
Wow.
I thought that was fun. All right, so that's Virginia, United States. We are the largest manufacturing economy. We produce 21% of global manufactured goods. Then comes Japan at 13% and China at 12%. So the U.S. is twice as productive as the next 10 leading manufacturing economies. That's why it's so important. You look at the numbers and you say, okay, well, in Virginia, it's 200,000 people. However, it's all those other jobs, right, that go with it.
Is it an age thing? Because, you and I are sitting here somewhat similar in age, and we think this stuff is really cool. What do the Gen Z population, the kids that are in middle school and in high school right now, are they thinking the same thing, or are they looking for something else? And does manufacturing check those boxes for them?
I don't know that I want to know what they're thinking. But I've posed this, we've talked about our kids before, and I've posed this question: how do we make it sexy? What do we do? I can't do anything, but we are. Because when those kids go in and see it in person, like, whoa, cool, I didn't know it did that. And you connect the product to the company and it's local. And then, oh, I recognize that product. I'm going to tell everybody else that it's made locally. And who are your customers? Well, I didn't know that Continental, who's adding a video this year, actually makes the plastic windshield thing for the Jeeps. Did you know that? No. Did you ever sit in a Porsche seat when you went to WOW? They make that cover too. So those are the kinds of things that stick in the kids' craw. I really think it comes down to marketing. When we're talking to the entire public, everyone, it's got to go beyond age. It's got to go beyond the schools. Those Gen Z and those Gen Y-ers, which is millennials, they're really into global but local, the handcrafted artisan type products.
They think more of the bigger picture on a smaller scale of sorts. They like knowing that this cool little thing is made in their backyard, but is being sent and used all over the world. You just have to get them to understand how cool it is to be a part of that process.
So that's why we share. These are the companies, and Wendy has done an amazing job creating a map. So that we can see where these are located. So I'm driving, I'm by the mall, or there's the Target. Oh, I didn't know that company was over there. I think in relation for visual learners, I think that would be eye-opening. So yes, it's who is here and what product do they make, but it's also for those that want to keep it local and understand the craftsmanship and the artistry, take it back to the history. That's why I want to include that in the Manufacturing Week celebration, because when someone saw something that was embroidered or some type of woodwork that they thought was beautiful, they couldn't afford it because it was just too costly because it was made by a craftsman. That's where manufacturing came in. They could mass produce it to meet the demand, but it also was easier to buy. Didn't cost as much money. So I'm trying to make that come full circle for the Gen Z and the Gen Y to understand that's how it began.
So then let's circle back as we wrap up about the videos. So these videos are cool because no matter how old you are, we all want to know how things work. What was the process to get from A, B, C, all the way to the end at Z? Where can people go to see these videos, and what will they see when they get there?
Go to explorefrederickcareers.com. We have a library of videos. The first featured libraries will be the newest. And I have to tell you, we started with, I think all of us watch the Discovery and History channels. We watch how it's made. I found out that our local company, Riviana, who was Neuropasta before, they had been on how it's made. And so they gave me that little bit of a segment to show, because they go all the way out to the field. They show the wheat. But we wanted to see the dyes and how it's cut. Okay, those patterns. What products are they making? San Giorgio. Oh, Cremette. Oh, I use those noodles. So we wanted to make it interesting in that way. And that was kind of the template for us. So it looks like a YouTube video when you go out there, and you have to click, there's a header where you click more videos because we go back 3 years, but it should be pretty simple to be able to find it. ExploreFrederickCareers.com.
So National Manufacturing Day is this coming Friday on October 2nd, but you guys are celebrating all month. So if somebody wants to make sure they don't miss a factoid or a new video as it's released, should they go to explorefrederickcareers.com? Should they follow you on Facebook? Where are all of the different options for them to get this information?
Yeah, it is actually on. Go to explorefrederickcareers.com. I know that Wendy has set up a new beautiful webpage. We've got Manufacturing Week there, and she will have all of the links. Definitely sign up for the Facebook messages. And certainly if you have questions, you can email me to ask for a tour or more information, or if you are a company and you want to share what you do. If you are one employee or you have 1,000 employees, it is important for this community to know what you contribute, who are your customers, what is your product. So email me, smichaels@yesfrederickva.com or explorefrederickcareers.com.
I will put your email address in the show notes.
I want you to email me because we are always looking for more businesses to contribute. And you can't always do some of the bigger things that we talk about, like Worlds of Work. You might not be able to do a tour, but you might be just the person to do a Zoom call into a classroom right now or to the community college. We're looking for phone a friend. All right. So you've got a guidance counselor or somebody that's, I don't really know anything about whatever job. And so we need that person that can answer questions, emails, phone calls, maybe meet with a student or parents that have questions. The lady that does my hair, hi Alma, her daughter is very interested in fashion marketing, totally off the manufacturing. However, how are you going to make them? She loves fashion marketing. She's like, I don't know what to do. Like, they don't offer the schools. I'm like, here's what you do. You go to these businesses, you go talk to the school counselor, because people know people.
Mm-hmm.
And so you ask the questions. If you're a parent, you ask the questions. What should I do? Maybe should they job shadow? Should they get a job? Work from the ground up? That's how you're going to learn the business. You also may learn that you don't like that. So
yeah, sometimes it is more important to learn that early on before you waste a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of your energy in something, and then realize, you don't do well with the sight of blood. So maybe being a doctor isn't the smartest option for you.
probably not.
Sally, thank you for having this conversation with me today. It is always fun. And today I learned a couple of more things. So just be prepared, because I'm going to throw those back at you for future shows. So now that information is in my head, you could be in big trouble.
I want to add one quick thing. Hashtag we make VA. If you work somewhere that you love, you see a video that we've put up, or you want to do a tour, you want to do anything like that, or you want to share with your neighbors or even your child, because most kids don't know what their parents do, hashtag we make VA. As a community, we can come together and show what's made here locally.
I will put all the information for ExploreFrederickCareers.com. I will put Sally's email address, everything on the show notes page. It is already there. So if you go to theriver953.com and click on the podcast tab, there's the Valley Today. Today's show is up. You can send Sally emails. She will answer you and hopefully expand your horizons, as well as the students and the kids in our area, to let them know what's going on. Sally, again, thank you. I will meet you back here tomorrow. Have a brand new episode of the Valley Today ready to go for you just a few minutes after noon. Meet me back here then.